All right, we'll go ahead and get started now. We'd like to welcome up the Media Center. On my far left, the co-owner of Harding Steinbrenner Racing, George Michael Steinbrenner IV. In the middle is Shaun Lee, the CEO of GESS International. And closest to me, driver of the number 88 GESS Capstone Honda for Harding Steinbrenner Racing, Colton Herta. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll start with Shaun in the middle. You are, as we said, you're the CEO of GESS International. Explain what GESS stands for and kind of what the company does.
So GESS International, or GESS, G-E-S-S, stands for Green Energy Sustainable Solutions. We're an energy services provider. We provide renewable energy projects. We're currently specializing in renewable natural gas, or what most people would consider biogas, using animal waste and agricultural byproducts to create gas that can be used in our natural gas pipelines and in natural gas trucks.
And so if you can maybe explain some of the parties who are involved in RNG and maybe what some of the benefits that come from it.
So renewable natural gas, and by using renewable natural gas or biogas, the benefits are is it removes methane from the environment. So in effect is as you can process materials, those materials can be used again, but we're extracting the methane in the process. That methane can then be utilized into vehicles in the transportation industry, thus improving our environment, reducing our carbon footprint. As in a quick example is if every vehicle that came to a race every time you had an IndyCar race and they used renewable natural gas, then they would in effect actually be improving the environment every day they drove their vehicle.
So Shaun, so then taking that the next step, the relationship with Harding Steinbrenner Racing and coming to IndyCar, how does that work and how does that benefit GESS?
So our interest in IndyCar is that IndyCar has the current use of ethanol, which is a green, renewable, sustainable fuel, and the interest level was that GESS wanted to provide not only energy services, but provide biogas in the transporters. So currently you use a great way of fueling the race cars through ethanol, but the transporters don't use ethanol. So we can provide biogas or renewable natural gas that the transporters themselves can utilize to truck the vehicles and the race cars and the teams and all the support vehicles around the United States, thus helping and reducing the environmental impact, and then sending a marketing message to many other fleets of trucks out in the marketplace that could then utilize that renewable natural gas in their fleets.
And I know that there are some other co-sponsors who are involved with this effort. If you could elaborate on those a little bit.
So our operations partners for the projects and for the fleet trucking is Veolia, which is a large-scale global operational company. In addition, we have worked with Capstone Microturbines for the past 22 years. These turbines generate electricity and energy on the projects, and they're the only EPA-certified clean energy power-producing products.
And why was it important for you and GESS to partner with Harding Steinbrenner Racing and Colton Herta?
Harding Steinbrenner Racing was a natural fit for us. Obviously, we've been following, I have a racing background, so I've been following Colton's career over the last few years. He's from Valencia, California. I'm originally from California. Really, reality is grew up just one valley over from where Colton currently lives in Valencia and where he's from. Additionally, the biggest market of low carbon fuel standard credits is in California. So obviously, Colton being from California, our main market being from California, it was a natural fit. Learning about George and George Steinbrenner's association with the team and the fact that they were up and coming young team that needed support and help just seemed to be a natural fit all the way around. And just as we're an up and coming growing company, it seemed fitting to work with both sides working together to support each other.
Good point. Good point. George, from the team perspective, why was it important to partner with GESS, and how does it benefit the team?
Well, GESS is it's a company in a space that's growing and there's a growing need for, and it's important for us as a team to partner with a company in a space so intuitive for motor racing and as fuel and sort of the future of fuel and fuel efficiency and carbon footprint. So for us, it's important to partner with a company like GESS because it's the future.
And obviously, the future is important to all of us. Colton, young guy, you're a teenager. I'm sure you want to do most that we can do to help preserve our planet and keep things going well. So it's important to you as well, I'm sure, to partner with GESS along those lines.
Yeah. You know, I don't think it takes a very smart person to see what's going on with Earth and how it's going downhill in any way that you can regenerate it or maybe recycle it in a way that we can get back to how it was 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and at a more sustainable level. I'm all for that. So I'm happy that GESS came on board. I'm happy that they're supporting the planet so that I can support the planet. And yeah, I get a pretty cool looking race car out of it too.
And a pretty fast race car.
Yep.
If you want to, I know we had you in here at the end of the day yesterday, but if you just want to, you've had a night to think about it, qualified 5th provisionally, great day for you and the team yesterday.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much the max we could get out of that run. It was right on the edge and just flat for all 4 laps, and didn't really want to do that run again. It was super sketchy, but yeah, it was enough for 5th. I wouldn't mind if it rained today, but I also wouldn't mind going out and seeing if we could do a little better. So either way, I'm happy, and top 9 is a great starting spot wherever you are, and you know, it doesn't really matter where you qualify as long as you do qualify. We've seen guys win from the front. We've seen guys win from the back. It's possible from anywhere.
And George, how proud are you of the effort of the entire team, not just yesterday, but throughout the season?
Super proud. Every weekend we've shown a little more experience. We've had a couple of rough weekends after that COTA win, but they're valuable for us as learning experiences to make sure that we can be toward the top like we were in COTA more consistently, and qualifying 5th for the Indy 500 is a darn good start for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to open up for questions now. Start over here. I have the microphone. Pass it around.
I talked with Wink Hartman when he was a part of the IndyCar Series about the possibilities of running natural gas. Of course, his is not biofuels, but natural gas, period, and say the Indy lights. What would it take? Is it, under the laws of physics, is it possible to have enough compressed natural gas to run, say, an Indy Lights race with what they could carry on board?
I can answer that we're currently cooperating with IndyCar, looking at a number of opportunities in that space and working with biogas or renewable natural gas people to look at that space right now. So that is under review to assume how that could be done, including how to support and structure the fuel capacity tanks, because obviously a gas doesn't weigh as much as a liquid fuel.
And a follow-up question. On TV, the tanks always explode. That seems to me to be, when you mention, hey, let's run natural gas in our vehicles, that's their first thought is, oh my gosh, it's going to blow up. So is this also a venue to prove to folks that it could be done safely?
Yeah, that's TV and movies folklore. So the tanks don't explode quite like that. So they've done a lot of testing and tank testing, explosion testing. They've gone through a series of tests in that regards. Currently, they use RNG natural gas and compressed natural gas tank systems for trucks and trucking currently. Most people, when you ride in a rental car bus, that is carrying a renewable natural gas tank. The city of the Indianapolis airport has a renewable natural gas fueling station already. So if you rode in different buses or different vehicles, you're already riding in those same vehicles with those tanks. So really reality is we'll do and make sure that all the testing is done before that. We have a good cooperation already, our company, with ethanol and ethanol producers. So ethanol is a very sustainable and good product. Biogas just has a little bit more removal of methane capability than ethanol. But ethanol is a good product. It's been running in IndyCar for a number of years. What we're focused on right now is in supporting the diesel trucks transition or conversion into renewable natural gas. So they actually use more fuel than the Indy cars themselves. So we want to target, for lack of a better word, the low-hanging fruit in the situation, and target the biggest consumer, being the diesel trucks. As you know, there are quite a few team owners and partners in IndyCar that have lots of fleets of vehicles, including Harding Group has 350 vehicles. So there are Schmidt-Peterson has a number of trucks, in Canada. Obviously, Roger Penske has a number of trucks. Team partners out there, DHL, Napa Auto Parts. These are all companies that have large fleets of transportation vehicles that we can work with, and that we're talking with. Obviously, IndyCar is a great place to promote products and services, to, in our case, promote, the carbon footprint reduction in the environment. In addition, we also are talking with U.S. Concrete and other entities in regards to switching their vehicles over, because not only does it improve the environment, it actually saves 29% in fuel costs. So if you take a large company that has several hundred trucks or 500 vehicles and you reduce their energy bill or fuel bill by 29%, that's a substantial amount of money.
So the B2B prospects are unlimited here, it sounds like.
Oh, absolutely. I can absolutely say that after this press conference, I will be directly into one of those meetings with one of those entities I was speaking about. So it's a benefit either way. I mean, really, reality is people speak about green and greening the environment. A big part of that is greening in dollars and cents. If you utilize green environmental issues, you'll reduce your costs. This is proven. And the benefits of using renewable natural gas is for the farmers themselves. I mean, talk about an entity and a sphere of business in the United States that needs help. That's farming. Farming's under lots of pressure right now. All of the biogas plants, the farmers make nearly as much revenue selling the materials to the biogas plants as they would raising the actual animals themselves. So they're in essence doubling their revenue abilities as you go forward. So for them, it's a big economic situation for the existing farmers. In the dairy industry, it's a huge impact. It can take a farm from a loss because of the price of milk on the value in the marketplace, from a negative loss to a positive gain. I mean, it has that big of a shift. Additionally, biogas or renewable natural gas production and use provides jobs. I mean, we're here, in a country that we want to make great again, versus one political side or another. Jobs are really important. Jobs at home, jobs in the rural communities. We work with rural communities where they want the biogas plants to be placed in certain locations so that money and tax base can go to schools, or that tax base can go to local schools in the area. So those local schools need money and need support. So we're a company that is using IndyCar as a platform to market and expose the public to renewable natural gas. At the same time, too, it's a huge benefit for the environment, the communities, the farmers, the economy. Just to give you an example, solar is a really great renewable energy source. But solar, once you put the solar panels in, they stay, and that's great. But when you put in a biogas plant and you put $1, just $1 into a biogas plant, that returns $7 back to the community. So it's a huge economic benefit for the community. You're talking about carbon reduction, carbon footprint. When the fuel is used, it lowers the average fuel or trucking bill by 29%. So it's a benefit. Renewable natural gas or biogas is a benefit all the way around.
Absolutely. Thank you. Jared?
I'm wondering, how has the reception in the paddock been to the idea of converting all their trucks over to run biogas? And as a follow-up, what are some of the challenges to retrofitting existing trucks from diesel to a biogas?
That's an excellent question. We are working to convert Steinbrenner Racing, Harding Steinbrenner Racing's tractor. It can range anywhere from $10,000 up to about $50,000, and the economic payback is within 3 years. So that's on an IndyCar team. If you move to a truck or transporter that's operating on a really more of a daily basis, you know, you can, that internal rate of return or that payback on that investment can be as low as 1 year. So, you know, a 2-year return on investment is a good investment all the way around. So, and the reception from the teams has been really great. We've started to work with Harding Steinbrenner Racing. We've started to work with Andretti Autosport. We have meetings with a number of the other teams as well. And we look to make an announcement next Thursday right back here. GESS is creating a circle of renewable natural gas teams and drivers. So you'll see right now, we currently have, if everybody's seen, we sponsored Patricia Ward, we sponsored Colton Herta. Colton and Harding Steinbrenner is our primary car, but we're going to be working with other teams as we go through the season and establishing a green energy, or GESS, renewable natural gas circle of drivers, circle of teams. So we want to work with all the teams and all the drivers, not just one team or one driver, to promote their conversions of their diesel trucks. There's lots of places in and around Indiana where that's available. We have local people that are certified and licensed, and we have great cooperation with the teams.
Great information. We'll go over here to Wolfgang.
I have 3 questions for you, for the gentleman in the middle. Number 1, with natural gas, are you operating a network of own gas stations here in the United States of America?
So currently, our company is actually working with existing renewable natural gas, or CNG, or compressed natural gas stations in the United States. We also are looking at producing our own vehicle delivery stations as well. We've been asked, and we've been working in cooperation with 3 big oil companies recently, and in their cooperation and with cooperation of Veolia, we'll put in more stations, and that is a big part of our upcoming business.
And the next 2 questions, are you also in cooperation with existing car manufacturers, mostly in the truck business, as you mentioned several times? And do you have a market outside of the United States of America, for example, in Europe?
So currently, those are 2 good questions. So right now, we're cooperating with Cummins Diesel. They have an excellent renewable natural gas engine that they've come out with. In addition, we have certified converting entities that are certified by GMAC, or General Motors, right? Sorry, GMAC, but General Motors. And then 3, we have offices in London, we have offices in Kiev, Ukraine, and we are cooperating on projects in Europe as well. So in Europe, they have what's called RED II, which is a renewable directive, and we're cooperating with a number of the oil companies in those regions, specifically Europe, and you'll hear more about this in the coming months. So these are things that we've been working on. Our focus right now is in the California low carbon fuel standard market, but in the United States, that's increasing, and it increases every day. Right now, you have Oregon, Washington, California, Hawaii, Colorado, Idaho, New York have coming programs, and British Columbia, Canada is also just announced and instituting a program, and the first transportation fuel contracts were signed just in the last couple weeks.
One more question from Dennis, and we'll let you go, guys.
I have a question for Colton, and then Colton and George Michael, if I may. Colton, you appear to have taken to this place like a duck to water. Is that the case, and have you pinched yourself at all about starting 5th provisionally?
Maybe from the outside it looks like that, not for me. There's a lot to learn. This place is very difficult. You know, some days you could make better setup changes or trim the car more, and you can go even slower. So it's a big mystery sometimes of finding the balance of the car and knowing what you need out of the car, and that just comes from experience, which I lack around this place. So luckily I have a good engineering team led by Nathan O'Rourke and a great team behind me. And this really speeds up the process and doesn't rely on me as much, which helps when you're a rookie.
And my second question is, how cool is it to be doing it with a friend, you and George Michael together, both of you?
We're 3 friends. It's awesome. Obviously, me and George have known each other for a long time now, 7 years, which is kind of crazy to think about, and to know where it started from and know where it is now. It's crazy to think that we were just talking crap at Skip Barber weekends, and now we're doing an IndyCar team. So it's pretty cool, and I'm happy that he chose me to go along with him, and yeah, super grateful.
Oh, same question. Well, yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, and as Colton said, we met at a Skip Barber race when he was first getting into cars, and stayed in touch when he went over to Europe, and by the time we both sort of wanted to get involved in IndyCar at the same time, it was sort of the perfect puzzle to put together, that it's 2 buds can go motor racing and as you said, provisionally be 5th place to start the Indy 500. It's a great story, and it's a cool feeling to do it with a buddy.
I just want to add to that our company is just really proud to be with these 2 up and coming, team owner and racing driver. It's been just an absolute pleasure to work with them, and I know that George and I had conversations yesterday, just continuing to encourage him to go forward in the future and to do more things. Right, so these are things that we're supportive. We're supportive of Colton. Yesterday's second pass was a little scary for us, but after he was already in the field, but he went out and did a great job, and he did exactly on pace and on track what he needed to do. So our support and trust in these 2 young gentlemen is absolutely unsurpassed. So obviously we've stepped in for the entire season, and we look forward to not only this year but coming years as well. So we're not here for just 1 race or 2 races. We're not here for 1 year. We're here for the next several years to make an impact with them as they make an impact in the racing car and the racing seat. We want to make an impact on the environment and the community and now and in the future.
All right, with that, we'll wrap it up. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck today,
Thanks.
the rest
Thank
of the
you.
month, and the rest of the seasons ahead.